On the side of Samsung, Anguish on the side of SKT. Coma and Faker have won every single Worlds they attended until today.
Hi everyone, ThinkCard here. As everyone knows, SKT and Samsung Galaxy happened about a week ago. I've been wanting to make a video about why Samsung Galaxy would smash SKT in the finals, but I was in China until a few days ago, so I'm excited to finally be able to do this and elaborate on each team's strengths and weaknesses and why Samsung Galaxy matched up so well against SKT. Alright, let's get started on SKT's strengths. They obviously have a lot of strengths. They have the best mid laner in the world. They have good side lanes. They play around Baron control very well. They're very good about using their vision. They capitalize on enemy team mistakes, and SKT by far more than any other team make the most out of their windows of opportunity. Now, some of SKT's strengths are a double-edged sword. They have weaknesses. They fall behind a lot versus good teams. They rely on the enemy making a mistake in order to get a window of opportunity to punish them and take control of the game. You can see against like RNG and against Misfits, they would have very big leads against SKT, and then they would make one mistake and SKT would just grab it and completely take control of the game, get Baron, start snowballing, and if they had like an 8k gold deficit, it would just disappear. But it relies on the enemy team making a mistake. A really good example showing SKT punishing mistakes is against RNG Game 4. MLXG came from a flank position at around 23 minutes and burns Kog'Maw and Lulu's flash with Jarvan. So next time Jarvan's ulti is off cooldown, they automatically win the team fight. They have a Rumble ulti on top of a Jarvan ulti, and then they have Soraka's Silence to stack on top of it, so SKT knows they pretty much have about 2 minutes to make a play. However, less than a minute and a half later, RNG is pushing up too far mid lane, Faker TPs behind them, they get a massive chunk on Jarvan, and then they can start and bait Baron, even though RNG is supposed to have control of this game and should have an automatic team fight. So they bait this Baron, they end up getting a favorable fight, they pick off the Twitch, get 2 more kills as Ryze ports right on top of a Galio ulti, and then they take Baron and take control of the game again. Yes, this is very good versus teams with not the perfect macro play, but against a team like Samsung Galaxy, they don't make these mistakes. Alright, so what about Samsung? What are their strengths? Well, they probably have the best top laner in the world, Cuvée. They are very good at using their lane pressure to secure vision and river control, so they can snowball the early game. They are very good at using number advantages to snowball without fighting, and they're very methodical. If you get snowballed on by Samsung, it feels like just a grind where you just did not stand a chance. Samsung really does not have too many weaknesses. Big problem they have is they do die to a lot of ganks early game. Maybe they're not tracking the jungler enough or respecting where he can be, but they do have a lot of deaths early, and it affects how well they can control the game early game and mid game if they fall too many kills behind. So let's jump into this game one. The draft pretty much shows Samsung's plan against SKT for the series. They first pick the Janna, say, hey, you guys can have the Varus, you guys can have bot lane pressure, it's fine. We just want the Janna and then a scaling bot laner like Xayah, who's pretty good at laning, and Malzahar. Malzahar obviously takes away the laning phase. He's not going to be punished by Faker. He pretty much automatically gets lane pressure. And with that lane pressure, you can use it to go towards bot lane, take control of the river, and then all this pressure that SKT had with the Varus is going to be gone because they have to be worried about this Zac and Malzahar roaming down, taking control of the river. So on top of this, they draft the Kennen. Kennen is very good into Gnar. If you don't have lane pressure as Kennen versus Gnar, you probably shouldn't be picking the lane. Kennen can perma bully Gnar, push him in, and take control. And Cuvée, he's been doing it all year. He did it last year in finals. Give this guy Rumble, give him Kennen, he will keep himself safe. So the early game plays out pretty standard. Varus and Lulu have pressure on the bot lane. However, Zac is able to get a good gank onto Varus, burns his flash, and then once Crown hits 6, he ultis Cassio, favorable trade, and then just uses that to get vision control of the bot river. So no flash on Varus, and Malzahar is going to be able to hover bot side after every single wave mid. The rest of the game is Samsung Galaxy methodically just tearing apart SKT. They use this Malzahar and Zac pressure with bot river control to make sure that SKT has to just back off bot turret. They threaten the dive and they get bot turret for free. They recall and go mid lane. They go, hey SKT, you will never have mid lane control for the rest of this game. They use their mid control, they get Rift Herald for free. Then they instantly go mid and get the mid turret for free using the Rift Herald. Then after a few minutes they recall and go topside. They never want SKT to keep control of top river, so they always have their dual lane mid or top. Then they take top inner turret, which SKT trades by taking bot outer turret, but then Baron spawning in about 30 seconds. SKT still have no vision around Baron. They're stuck in their top jungle. They just cannot pull off the engage. Anyone who watched SKT versus EDG, they were able to get to Baron first and just pull out and engage even though they're very far behind. Samsung knows this and they never give SKT the opportunity. SKT actually get a miracle Baron steal this game. They're able to make the game a lot closer than it should have been. However, Samsung Galaxy still never dies this whole game and they just methodically end the game. It doesn't matter SKT got Baron. They just patiently wait 7 minutes for the next Baron and then close out this game. So jumping into game 2, SKT still has this Varus Lulu versus Xayah Janna bot lane. They will have pressure in the bot lane. What's different about this game is they have Ryze for Faker. Ryze can actually contest Malzahar's push in lane, so now Malzahar won't automatically get mid control. They can actually contest for mid priority, and coupling that with their bot pressure. This game they also have Yasuo versus Gnar. Could be a very good matchup for Yasuo, but he does have to trade pretty aggressively. So now that Faker could have pressure mid with this Gragas and Ryze duo, they can actually pressure top side or bot side, and they can actually have a pretty strong early game. So using all this pressure from the draft, SKT has a very good early game. They are able to mark the Jarvan. Gragas walks into the bot side jungle at around 8 minutes. They mark the Jarvan, know exactly where Ambition is. This allows Yasuo to take control of his lane. He can now push in the Gnar unafraid. He goes, steals the blue buff with Ryze, gets Ryze a nice blue buff. Then using that pressure again, they're able to 3-man mid lane since Malzahar loses his flash earlier and get first blood. And then even after that, they're able to free up Ryze once again and 3-man top for first blood turret for Yasuo. So the early game goes really well, but the problem is that unlike Samsung Galaxy, SKT, when they have a lead, they do allow the other team some opportunities to get back into the game, and it really shows this game. So shortly after 18 minutes, Samsung Galaxy use their jungler to just show up bot lane and the 3-man push in SKT's bot lane just so they can get some vision into the river and vision into the enemy jungle. However, SKT immediately, they decide to collapse on this. They're like, let's Ryze ulti on this. We have 4 people around here. We can do an even 5v5. We're ahead. However, look at the difference between the vision control when Samsung Galaxy has a lead versus when SKT has a lead. They don't need to be fighting, but they look for this team fight anyway because they think that they're stronger. Then at around 21 minutes, SKT makes a very similar mistake. They get the dragon for free. It's really good. Faker is able to push out top lane, run on down. Mouse is still in the top lane, so they get this dragon for free. However, they look for this fight anyway, even though they already got the objective. They can just keep on choking out Samsung Galaxy, but they look for these team fights. And Cuvée comes over, he's Mega Gnar, and he slams them all into the wall, and then they lose Baron. Samsung Galaxy would not make this mistake if they were in their position. So game 1, Samsung Galaxy, snowball super hard, super early game comp, rolled through SKT. Game 2, SKT picked Ryze, combat that early pressure, got a lead, threw it away, took too many team fights, Samsung Galaxy got Baron, stole the game, up 2-0. Now SKT's thinking, okay, we need something else to make this even more simple for us. So this game 3 draft was really interesting. Samsung got to Sejuani, of course they take it. SKT retaliates with Tristana, which gives back the Varus to Samsung. They're going to have bot lane pressure this game. However, SKT lock in the Leona. They're saying, okay, you're going to pressure us in. We are going to lock in this Karma mid with this Leona support, and we are going to be able to roam on you and keep punishing your bot lane if you play too aggressive. Samsung, they pick this Cho'Gath. They're thinking, we are not going to be able to do much early against this Karma. Karma has a lot of mid pressure early, so we need a way to scale. And Cho'Gath against Tristana is a very strong pick. Tristana does not have any max health damage abilities. She scales super well, puts out a ton of damage, but super tanks like Cho'Gath do very well against her. And so SKT has to retaliate with this Trundle pick. So the early game goes really well for SKT this game. They have a lot of pressure with this Karma. They end up killing the Malzahar with a gank, and then Karma TP's top lane and gets his Trundle first blood turret. After that, there's a fight in the bot river, they get 2 more kills, and then they end it with a dive onto Malzahar to get the 5th kill of the game when they have 0 deaths, which gives them about a 2.5k gold lead. Look how good Samsung is though. Ruler and CoreJJ have been pressuring in this turret the whole game. This turret is actually close to dying, and bot river control is still in Samsung's favor. Crown is able to push in this mid wave, disappear into the bot river, and now SKT are the ones being afraid of being dove bottom despite being up 2,500 gold. Samsung is so good about playing around their pressure and their vision that they just make you think that you just don't have many opportunities to go for, and SKT end up going for this bot river fight despite it not being their best opportunity. SKT ends up getting a pick on Ruler this game, and they secure Baron. They get a ton of turrets and accrue a 7,000 gold lead. However, all they need to do here is do exactly what Samsung did game 1. After Baron buff expires, the next objective is Baron. You are not going to be able to get turrets without Baron buff at this point in the game, so just set up for the next Baron. However, SKT, they engage on Samsung here. They lose the fight, and look at how much vision Samsung can secure in their top jungle. Now when SKT go back to Baron, it's so hard for them to bait this with all this pink ward vision Samsung has. SKT ends up taking a pretty decent fight. However, Bang jumps in, gets one shot by Cho'Gath, and Samsung kills 3 of them and takes away the bear. Honestly, SKT never really regained their composure after that. They got picked off a lot, lost both of their Nexus turrets, and the game got pretty chaotic until a 5v5 fight. But what I really want to make sure is highlighted is the small mistakes leading up to this. If Samsung had a 2.5k gold lead and were 5-0 in kills against SKT, they would not let SKT get bot river control. They would choke them out with vision, use their pressure, get deep vision, pressure a dive, be very methodical about it. And if Samsung were in the same position as SKT, where Baron was spawning in a minute and you had control of the game, they would go and get vision in the enemy jungle and just sit around Baron and make sure that SKT would never get vision around Baron. And these are the mistakes that separate these two teams. This series is a perfect example of why fighting is not a consistent way to win games. The way to be consistent is to make plays when you have numbers advantage, and Samsung have pretty much perfected this. Whereas SKT this series, they showed a lot of weaknesses. When they were snowballing, they did not use their lane pressure to correctly secure vision, and they did not use their lane pressure to get number advantage. And the result was a lot of even number of fights that they lost to Samsung even though they were snowballing the game.